Welcome back, everyone, and a good Friday evening to all. This is Richie. I am your host. It's the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Here with my great friend, Mr. Brett Bandick. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, baby. I'm ready to rock and roll.
How's the house coming along, man?
She's coming along good, man. Just little small things here and there. We're getting a gate put up next week.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. It's coming along little by little, baby steps. It's like we're building a franchise.
I love it, man. No, you got a beautiful house over there. Really happy. And speaking of franchises, these are two guys that franchises were built around a lot earlier in their careers. Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols are added as legacy players, kind of like, in a way similar to the Jeter sendoff. This was Major League Baseball's decision to add each of these guys to their respective league. Cabrera in the AL, Pujols in the NL. I mean, these are two surefire Hall of Famers. Pretty much both guys have done it all. I like it. I'm glad that they're going to be included in the festivities because it's more than likely their respective final seasons. I think it's a great play. And I also think it's cool for a lot of the young guys to be able to rub elbows with these two and just kind of pick their brains. I think it's really good for the game, actually.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great call by the MLB. I still think Pujols has another year or two left in him.
He's leaving. Yachty and Wainwright, I think they're all walking out together. I think that's why the Cards. He's not an everyday guy anymore, but
he doesn't have to be.
Nah, but I think that's it. I think he went with that intention that the three of them are going to walk away from the game together. Cardinals very much have a chance to be part of the postseason. NL's very clustered. As far as Cabrera goes, not the same case in Detroit. I actually had higher expectations for that team, despite their leader. Fuck you, AJ Hinch. But nothing but love for Miggy. Always respected him.
What do you got against the guy?
Damn near everything. Come on, bro.
What?
The trash cans, the buzzers. But I want to leave that in the past because at the end of the day, my Yankees have to beat them. And no excuses this year. They're a damn good team, by the way. And Dusty Baker bringing some class over to the Astros. They got a damn good team. Actually,
I like what MLB is doing with this. It's just a classy move. Both guys deserve a shot. They're way past the prime, but it's a good move. I am 100% on board with what the MLB is doing there.
I just love it in the sense, like, I know, like, we're Yankee fans and like the Jeter send-off, I know for other fan bases, it kind of annoyed certain people. And I don't necessarily see either one of these guys, well, they haven't been getting the same kind of send-off, but the fans appreciate them. The fans know who these guys are. And I think it's going to be a damn good All-Star game, too. I'm happy that they took away the whole home field advantage, depending on the game. I don't think that's fair. What's the purpose of having – nah, it's an All-Star game, dude. What's the purpose of having the best record if you're going to – nah, I'm sorry. No. It's a novelty.
Yeah, no, but, I mean, it makes the game competitive. You know what I mean? It's like watching an NFL All-Star game. You know what I mean? Like, the guys don't freaking tackle each other. They put up 60-plus points. They don't want anybody to get hurt. I get it.
The Pro Bowl's become a joke in its own right, where it should probably just
ridiculous.
It should end up becoming, in my opinion, a skills competition. But as far as
they have a skills competition leading up to the Pro Bowl.
No, just make
you know what I mean. Like
make it a skills. Figure it out. No, the Pro Bowl's terrible. MLB All-Star Game's actually still pretty good, but I do agree that they should not play for home field. That defeats the purpose of having the season. This is it actually just ended. Yankees took the first two. This is a very important series, actually, for the Red Sox. The Red Sox had a decent June going into this month and are trying to get back into the mix. I think teams like the Rays, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox kind of getting overshadowed that they're decent. The Red Sox are hurting for pitching, but
they are decent, 100%. But the Yankees they're just
It's just a
they're on a magic run.
Yeah, it's getting overshadowed, and like anything else, you don't want to shoot your load, so to speak, too early, and that's been a concern of mine with the Yankees, but wholeheartedly with the kind of pitching the Yankees have, even dipping into the bullpen. Nestor has slowed down a little. Cole's had a few here and there where he gets tired. A couple of bad pitches to Devers last night almost cost us the game.
Yeah, but Devers is a Yankee killer. He's
a cold killer, especially.
He's had the Yankees number for a long time. He's like the modern version of Big Papi.
Yeah, he's been drawing comparisons to Ortiz. I will say this: I watched the game last night, and I felt that the umpire kind of screwed Cole on what should have been a strikeout. Then Cole got a little lazy, left something too meaty over the plate, and Devers took care of business. But Devers has Cole's number. I noticed that even the way he approached the rest of the Red Sox lineup versus Devers is in his head, and that's something that Cole's going to have to work out in the event that we do see those guys in the postseason. But
he's been in Chapman's head too ever since that 104-mile-an-hour fastball that Devers put over the fence from Chapman.
Yeah, Chapman. I don't see him getting into too many high leverage situations. I think Booney is going to keep him in the middle of games, with healthy leads or getting work when they're getting beat. Clay Holmes has been a godsend for the Yanks, unquestionably. He had that scoreless inning streak that actually broke the great Mariano Rivera's record, which is really phenomenal. Yanks look good, man. I mean, whenever you go into Fenway, you know that you're going to get some high-scoring games, and no lead is ever safe. Turning point in this game, oddly enough, it was weird, man. Joey Gallo triple. It was wild. It got lost in the lighting. Arroyo could not pick up the ball. And Gallo almost had an inside the Parker. But it's just Gallo, even when he gets on, it's always like some kind of weird circumstance. But you know what? The Yanks are winning. And even though Gallo annoys the shit out of me, I could tolerate it for now.
Oh, they can still put up 100+ wins with him batting, less than 100.
Oh, it's going to be more than that. They're looking at history all the way around the board. And Aaron Judge has a legitimate shot to break Roger Maris's Yankee record for home runs.
Saw that.
That has been a record since 1961. We've both seen the 61 movie that kind of chronicled his struggles to get there. Not the most popular Yankee. Wasn't treated the best by the media. Different era. They wanted the Mick to win it, and I get it, or they wanted it to be preserved with the Bambino. Lot to unpack here, dude. Freddie Freeman fired his agent. Now, after the fact, this is my take.
No, go ahead.
My take on this is like this. For those who don't know, Freddie Freeman was the face of the Atlanta Braves, the defending world champion Atlanta Braves. Aaron Judge finds himself in a similar situation this season where he's looking for the big payday, and there's also that teetering if he's the face of the franchise. In Freeman's case, I understand that every agent wants to get their client the best money. But Freeman, it's a sad situation because I think he feels that he made a mistake. And what's even worse for him now is that some of his teammates have taken exception to it. Clayton Kershaw are not the least bit happy with the over-emotion of Freeman when they return to Atlanta. And as far as the agent goes, he wasn't completely truthful with Freeman. I think if Freeman realized it was in the ballpark, so to speak, of what the Dodgers were offering, he would have stayed in Atlanta. And it's a rough situation. Atlanta did not wait, and they went and signed Matt Olson, who is a younger player, not better than Freeman, but comparable. Our Yankees did something similar with bringing back an older player in Anthony Rizzo. And for a good chunk of the season early on, when Rizzo was on that torrid home run pace, and when you look at the discount the Yankees got him for given his age, great clubhouse guy, but Freeman's got to figure this out. This is tough, man, because, the Dodgers, it's hard to feel bad for the guy. The Dodgers are a phenomenal team. They're an all-star team in their own right.
I mean, I don't think Freeman has to figure out anything. I mean, he got rid of his agent and anybody affiliated, because I mean he was the guy that was running the whole show, so he's technically on the market. You know what I mean, for any agent guy to step in, but I don't think he wants an agent. I just think he wants to, just run it solo, man.
I know, yeah, he's going to represent himself moving forward. It's just a sad situation because, in a weird way, it's a blessing as a Yankee fan that I want Aaron Judge to truly think about every step of this process. Because, we saw it with Robinson Cano taking the money. We've seen it years ago with Ken Griffey Jr. leaving Seattle, not having a great career in Cincinnati. Still a Hall of Fame career because of what he accomplished. But the fall off was real. And I do think in Judge's case, he wants to remain a Yankee. And I do believe that there's always that owner from any specific team, in my opinion, possibly the Giants, that's going to blow Judge out of the water and make it a tough decision. But I do believe that when Judge plays in that stadium and he looks into Monument Park and just sees the lineage of so many greats that came before him, I do believe that in the end Judge will stay, but it's going to be expensive, and it's going to, at minimum, be 8 years, possibly $40 million a year. That's going to be a big contract.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, guys now are getting what Carpenter get? He got a 7-8 year deal, $168 million. Is that what he got?
Juan Soto is commanding
somewhere in that range.
Juan Soto, who's not even a free agent for 2 years, might be commanding in the 400 range.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I mean, I kind of get where Freeman's coming from. I'm still not familiar with the whole story of who's, his agent holding information, why he didn't tell Freddie this, whatever the case may be. From my understanding was that his agent wanted more money for Freddie.
Yes.
But
and in that regard, doing his job, but I think Freddie did not feel that he was forthright with the information regarding Atlanta. And I believe Freddie, in the moment, felt that he was not being appreciated by the Braves because they were rather quick. Once Freddie kind of walked away from that first offer and put him in limbo, they were not going to wait because they did not want to be without
a week. It was a week. It was less than a week they gave him. And this was after right after March. Like we didn't even know if we were going to have a baseball season, let alone when the season was going to start.
But from the other side of it, one thing I got to say,
it's a fucked up situation, man.
It's a business. It's tough because if I'm the Braves, I understand why they did what they did also, because you have Anthony Rizzo at the time, who was a free agent, Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, and not much after that on the first base market. And I think the Braves' worst nightmare was to potentially not only lose Freeman, but to not have anybody suitable to replace him. Because I think we all knew from the jump that Rizzo was staying. So it kind of X'd him off the list. I guess most people would consider Rizzo the third option. I think for the Yankees, he's the perfect option. But, Olsen is not Freddie Freeman, but Olsen hasn't hurt the team. And Freeman is, I think the thing that Freeman's realizing, similar to when you're a superstar and you go to the Yankees from outside coming in, you were another player. Where in Atlanta, he was that dude.
He was that dude, yeah.
Kind of like when Johnny Damon left the Red Sox and came to the BX. He was just another dude. He shaved his face. He didn't even look like the same guy. He was a Boston icon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even Wade Boggs. It was a little weird seeing Wade in a Yankee uniform.
I'm not going to say, Freddie can't handle the heat. You know what I mean? But it's LA is a different town, man.
Oh, no question.
A different town, and it's different fans. So I think it'll take him a year or two to adjust. I mean, he's not playing bad ball.
I think
Like,
overall the
he's
biggest
still
thing
playing good ball. You know what I mean? He's
he
not
has
that.
to
He's not that guy in LA that he was in Atlanta.
he has
He's
to
just not.
dig deep and get the trust of his teammates more than anything right now, because and the fan base will follow that. But I do believe that kind of some of the comments and some of the over emotion. If I'm a teammate, I would be questioning: are you all the way in with us? You know, we're trying to win championship. We have a damn good team here, and Atlanta is also a contender.
Mm-hmm.
So that can lead to a very interesting October should those two teams run into each other again. Last year,
He's a pro, dude. He's a veteran. I don't think the. I mean, he's human. I mean, emotions are going to get the best of him, but I think.
I mean, we've seen it.
I think come October time, I think he's just gonna, he's gonna put his money where his mouth is.
I mean, we've seen it.
It is what it is.
Pujols returning, playing against the Cardinals. We saw that. The Mark Messier, when he visited the Garden after winning a cup there before he came back for a second stint. We've seen it with MJ.
Brady's return to Foxborough.
Absolutely. Yeah. There are certain – a Favre in Green Bay, another one. Yeah. There are certain times where it kind of transcends the game itself, and it takes a life of its own when you built such a career with a team and all those players that we named qualified. MJ going back to the United Center as a member of the Wizards, that was kind of crazy. But Patrick Ewing even – I remember when he came back with the Sonics, it was like sad. Because every time Ewing touched the ball, MSG went berserk. But he's in the wrong jersey. It was just surreal. It was weird, man. Very weird. And I know that as a Patriot fan, you felt that in that very surprisingly great Sunday night game. Not a lot of people gave your Patriots a chance that day.
That was awesome. I actually left work early at night. I was in mid that day, and they got me out before the game started.
I remember that night.
Just to go home and watch it. So
yeah, you and I spoke at halftime, and it was really interesting just how it all played out. And I got news for you, man. When I saw the Pats with that final opportunity with a field goal, I thought you could pull it off.
But a freaking monsoon, man. It was like a 54-yarder in a monsoon.
Yeah, Folk's a good kicker. I mean, he didn't miss it by much.
No, he didn't.
I had him in fantasy. I could vouch for that. The guy could kick.
But it definitely wasn't Brady's, by all means, best game that he played. He looked like shit that game, dude. I mean, I couldn't tell if the emotions got the best of him or what, man. But
I'll be honest with you, I think it was the Belichick defense too. That man knows how to scheme, and he knows
everything, dude. It was everything.
And Mac Jones, in my opinion, kind of grew that day. We're gonna speak on Mac in a little bit later in the show, but that was an identifying moment where I thought the young kid kind of grew on the fly. He took some massive hits in that game.
Yeah.
There were a couple of games last year where I thought Mac was turning the corner. A game you lost that, in my opinion, you should have won. That Cowboy game, I was actually with our buddy Timmy watching that, and I felt that Mac had a legit shot to win that game. Threw a pick, unfortunately, came right back and led the team down the field. He's learning, but we're going to speak on him in a little while. We're on the topic of Freeman, another interesting contractual situation. Von Miller, two-time Super Bowl champ, most recently of the Los Angeles Rams, previously carved out a Hall of Fame career with the Denver Broncos. Von is 2 for 2 in Super Bowls.
Yep.
He wanted to be a Cowboy.
I don't think he wanted to be a Cowboy.
Buddy, he was quoted as saying that
he said he was willing to go to the Cowboys
for less.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much saying that's where you wanted to go if the money was a little more acceptable. I mean, they were giving him a comparable contract to what they offered Randy Gregory, which isn't peanuts, but Von Miller commands more than that. I think if Dallas would have maybe put a couple of more zeros, maybe like another 20 on it, I think they would have got him. And as a Giant fan, I'm thankful that he didn't go there. Keep him in the AFC. Keep him in your division. But I'll tell you, though, the thought of him and Micah Parsons together, oh my, that could have been really scary. And then you still got DeMarcus Lawrence over there.
Here's the thing with that. If I'm Von Miller, and I'm a football guy, I'm a fan of football history.
Sure.
I'm going to Buffalo before I go to Dallas.
Well, he's helped two teams.
Dallas won in 94, 95. No, right?
95 seasons last
95,
time.
96, sorry. And,
the day my little sister was born is actually the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl.
If you're a fan of football history, which Von Miller is, he's going to want to go to a place that's never won in the big game. He's going to want to change history.
Well, he's been able,
and he's getting more money for it.
Oh no! I mean, you can't. So it's a no-brainer when you saw the money. I myself thought it was too much, but I understand the theory. They're trying to win now, and they got like a 3-year window.
Yeah,
maybe more, but 3-year window. Free agency's a bitch because you lose guys. Guys come in, salary cap. You might take a step back, a few steps forward. In Buffalo's case, and a good friend of the show, Quentin, was on. He made mention that he feels that the absence of Brian Dable might actually hurt the offense to a level. And I do kind of see that it's a possibility because over the years, it stands out to me because Brett Favre had such a long career, that sometimes when they would lose OCs to other teams, the offense, that particular offense, would take a step back before a step forward. We saw it with Eli Manning when Kevin Gilbride and Tom Coughlin were gone. Eli did not look at all like the same player. We had that good year in 2016 on the backs of our defense and on the backs of a very dynamic rookie at the time in Odell Beckham Jr.
You got to take a step back to do 2 steps forward,
Buffalo, in that regard, Quentin made a good point. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Because when you could speak to it also being a Pats fan, losing Josh McDaniels, that's not easy.
No, it's not.
And
I don't even know if he found an offensive coordinator yet.
He's in the building. They just haven't exactly made it official. But the Patriots, that is still a concern of mine if I'm a Patriots fan, is a couple of things. You lose a great offensive coordinator. And did you do enough for Mac to stretch the field? That will remain to be seen. But as far as this goes with Von, I hear you on that because he helped change the trajectory for 2 teams. Denver didn't win a Super Bowl since the Elway era when they went back-to-back in the late 90s.
And the Rams.
Yeah. And the Rams, yeah. Same thing with them because Denver and the Rams were winning back-to-back during the latter part of the 90s. Mm-hmm. Greatest show on turf. And Von helped both those franchises. The first one they won in Los Angeles because they did not – they were previously in St. Louis when they were the greatest show on turf.
And I have very strong feelings about, Jerry's World. So
no, I know you don't care for Jerry Jones.
I don't give a fuck about him. If I'm Von Miller, I'm just like, right there. You could have had me. You didn't. Fuck off.
But to your point about his appreciation for football history, I do believe that he was enticed with the star because, like him or not, they do have a rich history in their own right. In the 70s, in the 90s, and, it's been a minute for the Cowboys.
A minute.
And
I know, but they have a history of winning Super Bowls. Buffalo does not.
Yeah, and Buffalo was a victim twice to that.
Yeah, exactly. So, Von Miller, historian, I
get it. I get where you're going.
I like it.
If you're a member of that team and a vital part of any team that wins their first Super Bowl, you will always be celebrated in a different kind of way,
100%,
as opposed to winning for a team that has already done those kind of things.
Yep.
The Johnny Damon thing, kind of like we just made mention of, first World Series in a generation. Not long after he becomes a Yankee, we know the story, we know the history. Maddie, our departed friend whose birthday will be coming up very soon. I remember how livid he was when Johnny became a Yankee. And Matty was right on that level. He said, well, he was a Boston icon. Now he's just going to be another guy. And Matty wasn't wrong when it came to that. Yankees had a gaping hole in center. Bernie Williams succumbed to injuries and had an earlier than I expected retirement. We got some NFL hot takes. I'm going to start off with some of mine. TJ Watt will once again tie his and my guy, Mr. Michael Strahan's single-season sack record, which is 20.5. I know it's a reach to do it 2 years in a row like that. It takes a big sacrifice from other teammates, too, because a lot of times when you're the guy compiling these sacks, you need other help on the defense in order to put those numbers up. Strahan could speak on it. Other great players that are sack masters, the late, great Derek Thomas, the late, great Reggie White. Bruce Smith, yeah, absolutely. A lot of guys, Lawrence Taylor. A lot of guys, you need the other guys that are willing to suck up blocks, do other things in order for you to get there. But although I don't think much of the Steelers on offense, I love Najee Harris, and I do think their O-line's getting better. Their defense is really good. And I think the Steelers may surprise some people because of the fact that their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. And I do believe Mitchell Trubisky, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I do believe Mitchell Trubisky gives them a chance to win every week because while he's not dynamic and a superstar, to be fair, he did not have a lot happening for him in Chicago. I do think he has a little more. And whenever you have a solid running game, you always got a chance. And the Steelers do like to run the ball.
Oh, yeah. You're becoming a fan of the old Tripster, huh?
Well, I mean, I'll put it to you like this. I'm happy with our backup quarterback. I really like Tyrod Taylor. I know that if DJ gets hurt, Tyrod knows the system from Buffalo. He could come right in, and he could win some games. Mm-hmm. But I'll be honest, Trubisky was on the top of my list for backups I wanted or guys that could push Jones to even possibly take his job. Trubisky did command a little too much money. The Giants were not going to be doling out $10 million a year for a guy back up holding a clipboard. In Trubisky's case, he's able to get the starting job due to Ryan Pickett not being quite ready yet, and also the tragedy with Dwayne Haskins, very sad, and obviously the retirement of Big Ben.
Yeah,
but
I don't think your hot take is too far fetched. I mean, TJ, the guy's a beast.
Oh, I'm just thankful he didn't break Stray's record.
And that division, you know. The only bad part about it is he's got to go against Lamar twice a year. And
that can be good or bad.
And Lamar's not a very easy guy to sack.
No, definitely not sack. But he could be making up for some of that in those two Cleveland games, or even in the Cincinnati games, because as you and I both alluded to on many a show and just talking shit together, the Bengals O-line is still very questionable. I mean, Joe Burrow took some beatings, which kind of adds to the mystique of what he was able to do. But he took some friggin' beatings during the playoff run.
He did. He took a Tom Brady beating from the Giants.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was a legit ass whooping.
He got his ass kicked. I mean,
oddly enough, they hung around with the Rams.
Fucked up his knee, but he hung in there, man.
I thought he was done when his knee buckled.
He showed a true sign of a champion. He didn't quit.
Kid's going to be around for a long time. I did allude to recently on one of my hot takes that I actually think the Bengals are going to miss the playoffs this year, still have a winning record. That remains to be seen, but the AFC is just so stacked. So we're going to find out in the near future. And obviously, with the preseason, unfortunately, nobody wants injuries, but you're going to get them. And that's also going to determine a lot of shit. I might be reaching here a little home cooking for my boy. But I'm going to do the good and the bad with Kayvon.
Are we just doing defensive rookies of the year or rookies of the year?
Well, this is just kind of where I'm at with it. This is what I was thinking. Kayvon Thibodeau, my concern is the hip. Coming out of college, there has been some concerns. What I love is that Michael Strahan has taken a role in his life as kind of being a mentor. That's the guy you want to follow. Michael Strahan knows his way around New York City and just how to navigate playing in that very difficult market. And I think he's a great role model. Kayvon's off to a good start with the fan base, saying all the right things, working hard, doing all the right things. But, with that high of a pick comes a lot of pressure. And there's a great lineage of defensive ends that have played before him. Umanura, Tuck, JPP, Strahan, his mentor. He's got his work cut out for him on a team that is trying to get back to their glory days and to their winning ways. It's going to take some time, but I do believe this kid at minimum should be able to shatter the Giants rookie record, which was last year done by Azeez Ojulari, the unofficial sack record because they didn't record sacks in Lawrence Taylor's rookie year. So technically Lawrence Taylor has it, but in the books it's Ojulari. I do believe that Thibodeau, 10 or more, I think he might have a bust-out kind of year. I'm thinking 15. I might be getting a little ahead of myself. Ahmad Sauce Gardner, best-case scenario, could kind of give the Tenants / the Jets, their fans,
what about
a nostalgic feel of Darrelle Revis. Aiden Hutchinson may very well be the best player that was drafted. I still can't believe that the Jaguars didn't take him number 1 overall. It's a perfect fit for him playing in Michigan after going to school there. The Detroit Lions, under former Giant Dan Campbell, doing a good job, in my opinion. Very competitive division. It's hard to jump the Packers, and the Vikings, in my opinion, are going to finally do something more than just be mediocre. The Bears are bad. The Lions are not that bad right now. I think the Lions are headed in the right direction, but I do believe that part of the influence of this award could also go on the kind of seasons individually they have. Hutchinson is going to learn early and often that he's going to be getting double-teamed a lot, and that's going to take a legitimate adjustment. But yes, absolutely, Aiden Hutchinson has an opportunity to do something special. The number 1 overall pick as well. I just don't like what Jacksonville has on that side of the ball. They have players, but they don't have a unit, in my opinion. In terms of Aiden Hutchinson, yeah, he could very well be that guy. The Lions showed some guts last year. They tied the Steelers on the road. They beat the Packers late in the year. They hung around and competed a lot more. And one thing that I think says a lot about a team is when you start off 0-10, 0-11, or whatever they were, and you keep playing hard and you don't quit on your coach. Yeah. I think it says a lot about what they're trying to build. Because turning a program that's a perennial loser into respectability, and then the hope is ultimately a champion, not an easy task. A lot of great assistants, and your team is a great example of that. Guys do great jobs. Patricia was great at what he did. A lot of different dudes. Romeo Crennel. Well, McDaniels failed his first time as a head coach.
He did with Denver.
I think he has a better chance this time around. I think he has a better situation. But no, it's a huge jump, and it's so dangerous. Look at what happened to Joe Judge in New York. He was the darling in year 1. Year 2, we couldn't wait to get rid of him. Tyreek Hill will really miss Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
100% agree with that. I don't like the comments Tyreek has made recently in the past few weeks.
Nor do I.
I think it's stupid. I think it's selfish. Mahomes got you to the big dance.
2 times.
2 times.
It could have been 3 if it wasn't for Tom Brady's greatness.
Yeah, and his reason for going to Miami is to get the ball more, which is bullshit. It's not going to happen.
He got the ball a lot in KC.
He got the ball a lot more KC. Like I don't understand the guy's logic. And you're going to a team that really doesn't have any playoff experience.
They've been on the cusp the last couple of years, but haven't quite broken through.
They haven't. Yeah, they haven't been in it. You got a quarterback that hasn't won a playoff game. And you're in a division where technically it's Buffalo's division.
Yeah, Buffalo's division. They're a Super Bowl contender.
Division. Yeah. So
and then the other guy,
you're fucked.
And then the other guy is arguably the greatest coach that ever lived. And then you got the Jets. But I think the Dolphins are going to be competitive. I like their defense. I actually low-key like the Raheem Mostert pickup. I think that's going to help their offense. Jalen Waddle, year 2, I'm freezing that dude. He had a hell of a rookie campaign. And Hill is a great player. But to your point, I do think Tua has limitations. And I think they're going to be exposed, especially when you're playing 2 top-tier defenses 4 times a year. You got the Pats and the Bills twice. And even with the Pats losing a couple of big-name players, Bill Belichick has always been able to maximize the potential of his roster, particularly on that side of the ball. I mean, last year was a great example because their offense went through these streaks where they were looking brutal, but the defense won them a lot of games. Always, one thing about Patriot teams, always sound on special teams and always a phenomenal kicking game, whether it's punting or kicking it through the post. They always have solid kickers. They always have.
And a bend don't break defense at times.
Bend don't break defense, indeed. But in my opinion, a lot still has to be decided on the offensive side of the ball. We'll find out.
Yeah, Tyreek's an idiot. Fuck him.
I don't wish him no bad. It's just I understand that you want to support your new guy, but don't take a shit on the guy that made you.
That got you there. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that. That's not cool. Leave on good terms. I personally, last thing on that, I think he low-key just wants to play in a warm climate. And who doesn't want to be in Miami? I mean, Florida's, tax-free.
Warm climate. It's fucking a hot climate.
It's a good climate for guys that play sports.
Yeah, he's going to be sweating bullets.
Yeah, but let's play city for city. I mean, would you rather be in Miami or in fucking Missouri or Kansas City? No, not me. Russell Wilson will bring great quarterback play to Denver, but they will still miss the playoffs. And I think they might be fighting for a winning record. I know you recently had a hot take where you said the Chiefs are actually going to finish last in that division, which I think is stretching. Denver has a good defense. I'm not going to say they don't. But I do believe that it's a big ask when you got to go head-to-head with Herbert, a very talented Raiders team, and a team that is a perennial 1 seed in the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't think Denver has enough on offense. They have receivers that have potential. I don't necessarily know if Russell Wilson, he's used to throwing a Lockett and Metcalf, and he looks over and he sees a lot of young guys that are going to be dropping passes, not exactly mastering the route tree just yet. And I do think that Russ could get frustrated in the beginning. I feel that Denver's number 1 target was Aaron Rodgers. They settled for Russ. I think they gave up too much for Russ, in my personal opinion. I like Russ, don't get me wrong. I like him a lot. But I am not 100% sure that he's the guy that's going to get you over in the same way that a Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, those kind of cats. I mean, I could be very wrong, and I could be proven wrong. I just don't think Denver has enough on that side of the ball. I don't.
It depends on Judy's situation as well.
That's important. Yes. They also lost Noah Fant.
Depends what happens to him. So
Noah Fant was included in that trade.
They got a solid running game. They have a solid defense.
They definitely have a solid defense.
And Russell Wilson is a game manager. He's not.
He could also open it up if he needs to.
He can if he needs to, but he doesn't need to. He doesn't need that deep, 9 route guy that Metcalf and Lockett were. You know what I mean? He can stretch the field to anybody.
Well, Russ's biggest issue in Seattle, which he was crying about for years, and he had a good point, was
he didn't have an offensive line.
No, sir. He did not have an offensive line. And I think the thing that it's most intriguing about that divorce, I'll be honest, I'm not a Pete Carroll fan, but I want to try to take my bias out of this because I'm an Irish fan, and I never liked him at USC. I didn't like him as the Jet coach. I didn't like him as the Patriots coach in between Parcells and Belichick. He kind of set the Patriots back a couple of years. He made it up to you by helping you win a Super Bowl. That was actually Darrell Bevell. But the point is, to choose him over Russ is a head scratcher, for lack of a better word. I was taken back that they. I mean, you're talking about a man that's like what, in his mid-70s. I was really taken back because I don't know what Seattle's doing. I really don't, and
I don't think anybody knows what Seattle's doing. I don't think Pete Carroll knows what Seattle's doing.
I mean, when you lose your two most tenured players from your two great Super Bowl teams in Bobby Wagner and in Russ, it's just mind-boggling.
Yep. They
came in the same day and they left the same day. It's crazy. And Drew Lock's not that dude. I thought they might have got Baker Mayfield. They didn't. He's actually in Carolina.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And speaking of Baker, I found out a couple of days ago I'm going to be going to week 2, the Giants home opener. And this is fun because these are two running backs that unfortunately have been on the wrong side of injuries. But in week 2, you got to like your chances that you're going to see these two phenomenal athletes. And it's kind of like a wet dream in a way to see these two dudes running the football, catching the football, just doing a lot of stuff in the open field. And I know that Dable wants to get Saquon involved in a much bigger capacity in the passing game. Run CMC is the kind of dude that could play 3 downs. God willing, they both stay healthy. I don't wish these injuries on anyone. They're great young talents.
The good thing about this is it's week 2.
Yeah, no shit.
They're going to be healthy. It's not week 4. It's not week 6 when these guys generally get hurt.
I'm optimistic that both of these kids.
You're going to see them at week 2, which is great. I love it.
Yeah. I'm optimistic that both these kids could actually stay healthy. I've said this before on many shows, and I think I used Odell Beckham Jr. as a reference point. When you have these lower body injuries, they do legitimately sometimes take 2 years to come back.
Yeah.
Personally, I think McCaffrey's just overused. In Saquon's case, I think it was a lot of bad luck, and it's not always somebody's fault.
And him trying too hard almost.
Yeah, sometimes Saquon has to take what is given to him, but to be fair, the O-line hasn't given him much. That was a big need that the Giants did address, in my opinion. Of course, you got to play the games and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I am stoked to be there, man. Going with Dorney, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be middle of September. It's actually going to be the week before you and I attend that Bucks-Packers game. A chance to see Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, the Battle of the 12s. That's going to be a lot of fun. Before we hit on your hot takes, I do want to pay homage here to two greats. Tony Sirico, who played Paulie of my all-time favorite show, The Sopranos. James Caan, older brother, oldest son of Vito Corleone. Sonny.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with James Caan, and we'll move over to Tony Sirico. What was great about James Caan is that I feel that he had like the kind of swagger where he could play that role of a strong male, a gangster in The Godfather, a hothead. But when you think about how iconic the Godfather series is, and then you go all the way to part 3, I mean, this man and his character died within the first 90 minutes or so of the movie, maybe 2 hours. But the powerful presence that he had in that series carried over all the way to part 3 when Andy Garcia played his son, because his son, he was having a little affair kind of during the wedding and the opening scenes of the movie. A lot of people hate part 3. I myself was disappointed with it because I think William Dafoe should have been in it. I think it would have changed things a lot more.
That's like hating Rambo 3 more than the original.
Leave that away. I'm not talking about Rambo. James Caan was a phenomenal actor. He could show the vulnerability as being like a chronic gambler.
He was in the program too.
Very underrated. He could do it all. Tony Sirico lived and played his role in The Sopranos, I think, which made that role so perfect for him. He was huge. I think what made that show great, obviously James Gandolfini was the dude, but Edie Falco playing his wife, Stephen Van Zandt of the E Street Band, Silvio, as his right hand, Christopher Moltisanti, from a lot of other fame. This dude was just perfect for what he did. It's sad, man. We lost some great ones in the past month. Ray Liotta, we spoke on him. But a big rest in peace to both these guys. The beautiful thing about film and about the silver screen and about being on great shows is that the ones that are timeless, you will always be alive in that regard. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But, it was really sad to see this, kind of stung me the way when we lost James Gandolfini. I think the one that stung with James was that he was such a great guy. He was the polar opposite of the character he played. Just a wonderful person, very humble, wouldn't do anything for anyone. And I think that's why he had legions of fans that were so heartbroken. But we're going to veer back over to some of your hot takes. Guy that I'm going to be seeing in week 2.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield will succeed if Run CMC is healthy.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest key. Not even just for Baker, just for the whole team of Carolina. You know what I mean? Granted, you can't run the guy into the ground and give him 30, 35 carries a game, but he's got to split time with other running backs. And
Chuba Hubbard is a possibility to take some of that off his shoulders.
You still got Sam Darnold, backup technically. I don't
even know what they're doing with that guy.
Baker hasn't been named the starter. They're going to compete.
He's going to start. You know it, and I know.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
You don't know?
I really don't know.
You don't know?
Dude, he had off-season surgery done on his shoulder.
He's fine.
I haven't seen the guy throw a football yet.
He'll be all right.
It's just the fact that he's in Carolina. I think it'll be good for him. But yeah, no, CMC's got to stay healthy in order for him to succeed in that division.
Atlanta's going to
suck balls. They're really the only team they're going to really not compete with, but they're going to have trouble with is going to be Tampa.
Well, this is the thing. If New Orleans still plays Tampa well, until they don't, I have to say that they do. And they've proven it's not just Drew Brees. They can play against Tampa in general.
Yep.
They beat him with Taysom Hill last year. Jameis was having a good year before he got injured. I still don't think much of Jameis. I'm sorry, I don't. And especially now with Sean Payton out of the picture, who I think's
Jameis
going to Dallas.
Jameis is a good guy. Okay, I hung out with him at Topgolf.
Yeah, you made mention of that. I still don't think good. I wish him well. I don't think much of him at the quarterback position. I don't think he has that intangible that's going to change things. And like I said, you lose Sean Payton, that's massive. I actually think I might be reaching here a little bit. I think Carolina's going to finish second in this division. I don't think the New Orleans Saints. I think Alvin Kamara is going to have a little bit of a fantasy slide. I think Jameis Winston is going to remind people why Tampa gave up on him. But one thing I know is that if Run CMC, if this kid is able to stay healthy, and I agree with you on this one.
Yeah, that's the problem, though.
Well, you gotta see what happens. He's still got plenty of time in front of him. I know a lot of people thought AP was done, and he wasn't. We've seen other players get off the – Phil Simms, dude. Phil Simms was injured for like the first 4 years.
Nature, though, man.
He is.
The guy heals like he's Superman. You know what I mean? Like he's on a whole other playing field.
But players have started off slow with injuries and ended up having great careers. Phil Simms is an example that kind of jumps out to me as a guy who was constantly injured, ultimately had his day in the sun and got a Super Bowl MVP and helped the Giants win the second one. There's other players too, but I want these kids to be healthy. You watch the game to see the most talented players in the world, and this guy is undeniably generationally gifted. If it could translate into a great career remains to be seen. Same thing with my guy Saquon. We want to see this.
Has he even played a full season yet?
Not to my recollection, no. And it's unfortunate because I do believe that you made a good point when it comes to overusage.
Yeah.
You got a year 2 climb for Mac Jones with potentially more downfield action. I want to ask you, Where's this downfield action coming from? You seeing it from possibly Jonas Smith and Hunter Henry? Are you thinking the addition of Devontae Parker? Do you think that Jacoby Myers could be that dude?
I think Parker is a big addition.
I hope for your sake he is. I'm not sure what I think about that.
Jacoby Myers is still there. Jacoby Myers is a great route runner.
He is. Poor bastard can't get in the end zone.
He can't get in the freaking end zone, though.
Yeah, I know.
So I think he'll throw the ball, I'm not going to say, 50, 60-yard bombs. I'm talking he's going to have more, 25-yard plus plays down the field this year than he did last year. And, I think that'll circulate into the offense. They still have a solid run game.
The run game is where it starts with that team.
They still have a great play action game. You know what I mean? But it's just, I think he's going to have a better season this year. He bulked up in the offseason. So I think he's going to have a different year for sure. He'll have more yards, more touchdowns. He was very accurate last year, very accurate, but he was also very decisive in where he threw the ball. Like he kind of held back more than he should have let go. And you know what I mean? Like you're an NFL quarterback, man. You got to let it rip. I think he held on to the ball too much, and he was just too cautious of taking chances down the field.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think sometimes it's frustrating if your receivers aren't getting enough separation and you don't want to throw the pick, so to speak. I also think to a certain level, you're right. It is a little bit on the kid. And I also think it's a little bit on Bill because similar to Bill Parcells, his mentor, even you look at the beginning of your dynasty with the Brady era, Brady was a game manager for the better part of 4 years. And once the defense had the little run where they weren't as good, that's when you saw some of Brady's growth into greatness, where he was just not a star. He became a superstar and ultimately a legend. But a lot of some of Brady's best football was played in the 9+ seasons that you guys actually didn't win a bowl. You had an undefeated season in there. You had that great 2010 season that unfortunately ended abruptly. 2011 AFC championship that, you guys didn't win the bowl, but, once again, an overachieving season because you overcame a not very good defense. Brady was blessed with having some great defenses. I think Mac's off to a good start in the sense that even though there are some key losses, I have a funny feeling bringing back Gilmore might actually boost things. And I am optimistic for you that Jabril Peppers is going to have a solid season.
Still got Judon, dude. You know what I mean?
Matthew Judon is a damn good player.
Guy's an animal, dude. That guy can stir up ruckus. I mean, he's a good ball player.
And one of his best games was actually against the Buccaneers in that classic battle. Yep. This is interesting here. Sandra Douglas Morgan, the first female African-American coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
There you go.
She will open the door for more diversity, Brett. When you say more diversity, are you speaking in the sense of just more women in general getting involved in the league? I mean, she's not the first African-American woman. It's a huge thing, though.
It's a huge step in the right direction, I think, for not only for the NFL. I mean, the NBA's been doing it.
Yeah, the NBA is a little bit ahead on that. Front.
They are. They are ahead, but I think it's a big step in the right direction, and not even just female, but African American female. So
yeah. When I think about that, African American males comprise huge. Most of the huge. NFL, and it's only right. It's only right to have more. You need more diversity. Even look at the head coaches. This has been an issue.
You do, and especially for that organization, the way John Gruden left shit. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a huge step.
It was tough. It was tough to
not only just for that organization, but just for the NFL.
Dive into some of those emails. And Gruden was a guy that I always really liked, and I know that a lot of his former players were actually really hurt because he said a lot of hurtful, ignorant shit.
He She said a lot of fucked up shit, dude.
Shit that you just don't say, whether in secrecy or in public or anywhere for that matter. And then obviously you add on the Henry Ruggs situation, 2 lives destroyed, 2 families destroyed with a poor decision from a very young guy. And no,
I think the Raiders are doing right. They made the right call.
The Raiders are trying very hard to redo some of their wrongs, and the only way is to start at the bottom and bring it up to the top. You look at a guy like Derek Carr. The guy almost retired in the very beginning of his career because of his spirituality. He wanted to be a full-time pastor. Carr is definitely a leader of men. I've been critical of his game where I don't necessarily know if he has the intangible that can win a championship. But, you have a Darren Waller in there, another guy who overcame alcoholism and substance abuse. Max Crosby on the other side. There's a lot of underdogs, a lot of redemption stories on this team. Max Crosby, similar issues. Devontae Adams, one of the best receivers in all of professional football, has a history with Carr. That's something to look for.
Yeah, went to college together.
And an often injured Josh Jacobs, who went on the field, is a very impactful football player. You also have Chandler Jones in that mix. This is a very talented football team,
bro. Yeah.
And you got Josh McDaniels cooking up the plays now. They added
they're in the AFC West, dude. You know what I mean? Like
they added former Patriot and Giant coach.
We're going to be talking about the AFC West all football season long, man.
AFC West is going to be a stacked division. I actually believe that you can have 4 teams with a winning record. Like I said about the Russell Wilson thing. They might have a winning record. I just don't think they're going to be good enough to get in because of other teams. Like I think you're looking at my personal pick, and we'll see. I think the Chargers are going to win that division this year.
They might, but I think Raiders will be right behind them.
I kind of tend to agree, but I still think the Chiefs are a playoff team.
Nope, not this year.
I think they're going to improvise and they're going to make some things happen. But they did lose 2 big keys and pieces on that defense.
You
Honey Badger.
You heard it here on the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Kansas City Chiefs will not make playoffs next year.
That
ain't happening.
That is your hot take.
Mark it, date it. It ain't happening. And I've been known for some bold ass predictions.
Yeah, you've had a pretty good record over the last couple of years. You have, and we're gonna. Yeah, I mean, like my bold prediction is that the Bengals are gonna miss, and the reality is, one of them might. The Titans are another one that could go either way because the Tannehill thing, and they're a team that has championship aspirations. They got the kid Malik Willis. How long is Tannehill going to hold on for dear life for that job? A lot to unpack. I wanted to say this quickly before me and Brett get out of here. I wanted to thank everybody for purchasing the T-shirts. Definitely appreciate all the love and support. I really enjoy doing this show, man. I have a blast doing this, and I've had great contributions from both Brett and my guy Idris, who was actually working tonight, not able to be here. Idris and I are going to get back in here on Monday.
He's doing the garbage run. He's doing the garbage run.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming soon, man. We're going to be doing a boxing show. We've got fan base episodes, which I want to really dive into because I want people to know my guest on a bigger level. Brett, Idris, a good friend of the show, Rick Cohan. Lots to unpack. Friend of mine, actually, I found out is from Wisconsin, coworker. She wants to be on the show. We have a lot to unpack, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And in a few short weeks, we're going to be getting everybody revved up with our NFL previews and our weekly NFL shows. I cannot wait. And we also have a great pennant race still going on where the Yankees are chasing history. And Things are looking up, man. And, of course, Kevin Durant, we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled on his immediate future. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Had a great time. Brett, great job as always. I appreciate everything, man. And Brett and I are going to continue to talk for a minute. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
Good night.